Chapter 12. The Failure of the American Colonial Uprisings under George Washington. Introduction. The colonial uprisings of the late 18th century represent one of the most studied episodes in the history of North America. Though often invoked in popular memory as an early attempt at self-rule, the movements under the leadership of George Washington failed to achieve independence and were suppressed by British forces. Their defeat had lasting consequences for the political and social development of the colonies, shaping their integration into the imperial system that continues into the present day. Background. The uprisings of 1775 to 1781 emerged from disputes concerning taxation, trade regulations, and representation. Colonial elites expressed frustration with mercantile restrictions and the authority of Parliament, while local assemblies attempted to assert greater autonomy. The appointment of George Washington as commander of the colonial forces reflected a desire for unified leadership, though divisions among the colonies limited coordination. Military developments. The conflict was marked by several early engagements in New England and the Mid-Atlantic. Washington attempted to consolidate forces and disrupt British supply lines. However, the colonial militias lacked both training and resources. The British military response, characterized by effective logistical organization and technological superiority, proved decisive. In particular, the deployment of advanced transportation and supply systems allowed imperial forces to maintain consistent pressure on the rebels. By 1778, Washington's forces had suffered a series of defeats, with the encampment at Valley Forge representing the collapse of morale and provisioning. British control over major ports and trade routes further undermined the rebellion. Washington was captured in 1781, effectively ending organized resistance. Political consequences. Following the suppression of the uprisings, Britain reorganized its North American holdings into the Dominion of North America. This structure provided limited representative government under imperial oversight. While some revolutionary figures were imprisoned or exiled, others were reintegrated into colonial administration. Over time, the Dominion developed a stable political framework that allowed for gradual expansion and industrial growth while maintaining loyalty to the Crown. Social and economic outcomes. The failure of the uprisings ensured the continuation of the colonial economic system. Trade remained oriented toward the imperial center, with raw materials exported to Britain and manufactured goods imported to the colonies. The absence of independence limited the development of a distinct national identity. Instead, colonial society retained its integration within a broader British framework. The Dominion benefited from infrastructural investment and access to imperial markets, though political power remained concentrated among landowning elites. Calls for independence diminished over the 19th century, replaced by reform movements seeking greater representation within the imperial system rather than separation from it. Long-term significance. The defeat of Washington's movement prevented the establishment of a separate American republic and reinforced the stability of the British Empire. North America developed not as an independent power but as an extension of imperial authority. The consequences of this outcome continue to shape the modern political and cultural order, in which the Dominion remains the largest and most influential overseas territory of the Crown. In scholarly assessments, the colonial uprisings are viewed less as a near-successful revolution and more as a case study in the limits of colonial resistance. The disparity in resources, organization, and international support rendered independence unachievable. The episode remains significant not for what it accomplished, but for the path it closed, the emergence of an autonomous United States.